There's a woman in Texas. Her name was never revealed. A quiet, ordinary woman, just like people you pass by every day and never think twice about. One afternoon, she stopped at a gas station, not for fuel. She went in, bought a bottle of water, and as she walked past the counter, she hesitated. A small, almost invisible moment. You would have missed it if you blinked. She looked down at the rack of scratch-off lottery tickets and reached out. The cashier handed her the card, and before she scratched it, she did something strange. She closed her eyes, took a slow, deep breath, and then she whispered something under her breath. 7 words. Not loud, not even audible to the man behind the register. 7 words, quietly repeated to herself. Words she never told anyone. Not her husband, not her children, not a soul. She scratched the ticket. She won $47,000. Now you're probably thinking, that's just luck, coincidence, a fluke. But hold on. There's a billionaire, a real one, not someone with a flashy car and a leased lifestyle. This man built an empire, and he says he owes everything, every deal, every opportunity, every miraculous turn of events, to a habit, a ritual. He whispers 7 words before every business move, every investment, every leap of faith. And here's the catch. He's never told anyone what those words are, not his business partners, not even his wife. Why? Because of a forgotten law, one that was uncovered, no, rediscovered, by a man named Joseph Murphy. Murphy, the legendary author of The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, believed that your inner world creates your outer world, but not through surface-level positivity or blind affirmations. No, it happens through precise, emotionally charged silent language, the language that speaks directly to your subconscious mind. And if you reveal that language to others, the power evaporates. I'll explain. But before I do, I want to ask you something. Have you ever had a dream? A big, bold, burning dream, and you finally got the courage to tell someone, only for it to fade? Maybe you shared it with a friend, a partner, a family member, and somehow the fire started dying. The motivation drained. Doubt crept in. That wasn't in your imagination. That was something Joseph Murphy called psychic interference. I'll tell you more about it in a moment, but first, if you feel something stirring inside you right now, if a part of you is whispering, this might be the missing key, then I invite you to subscribe to this channel. What we share here, it's not fluff, it's not trends. It's the deep truth, the ancient knowledge about the power within you. So stay with me and subscribe, because what I'm about to reveal could be the beginning of your real transformation. Now listen closely, because this is where it gets wild. Joseph Murphy spent years studying why some people could manifest money, love, healing almost effortlessly, while others failed again and again. And the difference wasn't about faith or intelligence or even worthiness. It came down to one strange rule. When your desire is shared, its power is split. You see, when you speak your deepest goal aloud, when you let it out into the world, other people's energy latches onto it. Their doubts, their fears, their limitations, even if they say nothing, even if they smile and nod. Their subconscious starts projecting skepticism, judgment, caution, and your subconscious picks it up like a signal. And just like that, your pure, focused energy becomes scrambled. That's why Murphy taught, speak your truth in silence. Let your desires remain sacred. And that's why the most powerful manifestation practice he ever shared was this. Choose 7 words that anchor your deepest desire. Repeat them in complete secrecy. Whisper them into your being, and never speak them aloud to another human being. Ever. I know, it sounds almost too simple, too mystical, but tell me, aren't the greatest truths always shrouded in simplicity? The kind of simplicity that makes the skeptical mind laugh and the awakened soul lean in closer? Now imagine this, you're about to make a financial move. Maybe it's applying for a job, or buying a home, or starting a business. You step aside into your car, into the bathroom, into a quiet corner, and you do something sacred. You close your eyes, you breathe, and then you speak, not aloud, but within, those 7 words. Words charged with emotion, with conviction, with clarity. Your subconscious doesn't just hear them, it feels them, and it begins to shift your reality. Not metaphorically, literally. You begin to notice things you didn't notice before. Opportunities reveal themselves, connections align, the universe begins to echo your silent command. But only if those words remain yours and yours alone. Because the moment you tell, the frequency changes. The seed becomes exposed, the soil loses its cover, and the sprout withers. This is the lost art, the forgotten law. It's not about doing more, it's about speaking less and believing deeper. So I ask you, are you willing to keep your power sacred? Because what I'll show you next is where this practice becomes unstoppable, but only if you're ready to go deeper. And you are, aren't you? Stay with me, because now we enter the realm of ancient wisdom, where monks, prophets, mystics, and scientists all point to the same truth. The universe does not respond to noise, it responds to silent certainty. There's something the world doesn't want you to remember, something older than every self-help book you've ever read, older than Joseph Murphy, older than psychology, older than science, a truth so primal, so dangerous to the system that it had to be buried beneath rituals, rewritten through translations, and masked behind metaphors. But it's still there. It's in the psalms whispered in candlelit cathedrals. It's in the chants of monks perched on Himalayan cliffs. It's in the mantras passed from imam to disciple in the desert before dawn. It's the knowledge that your words, when spoken with conviction, secrecy, and sacred repetition, create your reality. They always have. Even the Bible begins with this truth. And God said, "Let there be light." Not God thought, not God wished. God said. And it was done. Why? Because in the ancient understanding of the universe, words were not just communication. They were creation. And if you're still watching this, if something in your soul is stirring, then maybe you're beginning to remember what they worked so hard to make you forget. That you are not just a body. You are a broadcast tower. Every word you speak, especially the ones no one hears, carries frequency, energy, instruction. And that instruction is picked up by the deepest parts of your subconscious and echoed back into your external life. This is not philosophy. This is mechanics of the soul. Let me take you somewhere unexpected. In ancient Buddhist monasteries, there is a practice called samadhi mantra. The monks repeat a short, sacred sentence, always in silence, always alone, before taking action. They don't shout it. They don't teach it to outsiders. They protect it because they understand. The moment a mantra becomes public, it becomes diluted. Now, you may have heard of Om Mani Padme Hum, but the personal mantra each monk carries is never spoken aloud. Because in the stillness of secrecy, the words take root in the field of the unseen. Sound familiar? Joseph Murphy didn't invent this. He simply reminded a modern, distracted world of what the ancients never stopped practicing. The inner world commands the outer world. Let me bring it back to now. I knew a man once, a quiet, unassuming high school teacher in Ohio. He didn't look rich, wore the same shoes for years, lived in a small house, but one day he whispered to me, over coffee, "You know, I've never made less than 6 figures in any year of my adult life." I looked at him in disbelief. He smiled, said, "I don't chase money. It chases me, because I told it to, years ago." He explained that in 1983, he wrote down a 7-word sentence. He never told anyone what it was, not even his wife. Every time he made a decision involving money, he'd close his eyes, take a breath, and repeat the sentence silently, with focus, with emotion, and with full belief. And that was it. He didn't have a fancy career. He didn't sell courses. He didn't hustle on the weekends. He simply programmed his inner world, and the outer world obeyed. Murphy understood this. He said, your subconscious is like fertile soil, and your silent words are seeds. But the moment you dig up those seeds, by sharing them, explaining them, analyzing them, you stop the growth. You expose them to doubt, to interference. In Islam, there's a hidden layer to prayer that most overlook. 5 times a day, the devout stand in stillness, facing the direction of Mecca. But there's a part of the dua, the personal supplication, that is always said silently. Just lips moving, no voice, no audience. Because God, they believe, hears what the world cannot. And the subconscious works the same way. The most powerful programming is done in whispers, not speeches. So why does this matter to you? Because you've been trying to create change with your outer actions, but your inner command system is running someone else's script. A script written by your parents, by your teachers, by society. And that script goes something like, money is hard to get. People like me never succeed. I'm not lucky. I have to work myself to death. And your subconscious, it doesn't argue, it doesn't reason, it just obeys. That's why Joseph Murphy was obsessed with repetition. He taught that emotionally charged repetition is the only way to overwrite the old programs, but it only works if the signal is clear, private, focused. I want to show you how this all ties together because it's not just mystical, it's neurological. Your subconscious processes 11 million bits of data per second. Your conscious mind, 40. That's it. So every time you speak a desire aloud, your conscious mind is exposed to the reactions of others, their faces, their raised eyebrows, their pauses, their be realistic advice, and your subconscious catches all of that. But when you go silent, when you speak only within, the signal stays pure, clean, uncontaminated. That's when the shift begins. There's a reason Jesus said, when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Close the door, not just physically, but energetically. Keep it sacred, keep it hidden. And in the silence, the mountains move. Now listen, this isn't about religion. This is about how the universe responds to energy. And nothing carries more energetic weight than a word spoken with belief and protected with silence. You want proof? Look back at your life. Look at the goals you whispered to yourself and never told a soul. Weren't those the ones that moved faster? There's a reason. Secrecy assigns importance. The mind only hides what it deeply values. And when your subconscious hears you guarding your desire, it assumes it must be precious and begins working overtime to make it real. Murphy called this the mystery factor. It's the same reason a secret crush burns hotter than an announced relationship. The same reason ancient spells were kept in coded languages. Mystery multiplies power. So here's what I ask of you. Find your 7 words. Words that feel like fire and water, like wind and weight. Words that unlock something in your chest when you say them inside. And when you find them, don't tell anyone. Not even me. Especially not me. Write them down once, then destroy the paper. Memorize them. Breathe them. Let them become your code. And then, watch. Watch how the fabric of your life begins to shift. How unexpected money finds its way to you. How conversations align. How coincidences appear, but they're not coincidences. They're responses to your command, the command only you heard because you kept it secret. So here you are, still watching, still listening, and something in your spirit knows this isn't just a video, it's a reminder, a message your soul has been waiting for, a wake-up call that's been echoing through dreams, signs, strange coincidences, and now it's here, wrapped in words spoken into your timeline because you were ready. But there's something you need to understand now, deeper than Joseph Murphy ever said. This isn't just about money. This isn't just about repeating phrases and watching your bank account grow. This is about power, divine power, the same power that hung the stars, that carved the oceans, that breathes galaxies into being. That same power is in you. Not metaphorically, not as a motivational slogan, literally. You've been taught to think you're a little person in a big world that's crawling through life, hoping for scraps of luck or favor. But what if that's the lie? What if the truth is the opposite? What if you are a vast soul squeezed into this temporary form, and the only reason life seems small, tight, or unfair is because you've forgotten your source? Let me show you something strange. In the Hebrew alphabet, the name of God is spelled Yod, He, He, Yua, but it's unpronounceable. Why? Because the letters are breath sounds. Try saying them slowly, Yod, He, Vav, He. It's not a name, it's a breath. The sacred name of God is the sound of life itself. You've been speaking it since the day you were born. Every inhale, every exhale, you're saying the name. And that breath, that life force is the real affirmation. Not just your words, but your breath charged with belief, intention, and sacred focus. This is what Joseph Murphy hinted at. But the ancient mystics knew. Words don't just matter. Words are spiritual codes spoken on the breath of God. Now listen closely. When you repeat a sacred sentence, a personal mantra, a divine command, and you do it with breath, in silence, with reverence, you're not just programming your subconscious. You're aligning with the very frequency of the Creator. You are speaking in the tongue of angels. And the moment that happens, the universe must respond. Because you're not just sending out sound waves, you're sending out creation waves. And here's the warning I need you to hear. Do not misuse this. This isn't a parlor trick. This isn't get rich quick. If you use this to impress others, if you use it to dominate, manipulate, or boast, the power will dry up. Because the power was never yours. It was on loan. You are a steward, a vessel. and vessels must remain humble or they shatter. But when you use this power in alignment with love, truth, and service, miracles become normal. You wake up one morning and the bill is paid. You walk into a room and the person you were meant to meet is already sitting there. You speak your desire into silence and reality bends. That's not magic. That's spiritual law. A law Joseph Murphy spent his life trying to reintroduce to a world that had forgotten its soul. So here's where we land. You have a choice. You can close this video, go back to scrolling, and let your subconscious keep running the same broken tape it's been playing for decades. Or you can pause right now, breathe, let your shoulders drop, let your jaw relax, let silence fill the space, and in that silence, speak the new code. Not aloud, just inside, soft, reverent, certain, 7 words, 7 keys, a sentence no one else will ever hear, but one that heaven will. Let it rise from your belly, let it vibrate in your chest, let it become who you are. Because once you plant this seed and protect it with secrecy and belief, it will grow. And when it grows, it won't just change your bank account, it will change your identity. Because abundance isn't something you earn, it's something you remember. You were never meant to beg for blessings. You were meant to speak them into form, just like your Creator did. And if this resonates with you, if your spirit is saying yes right now, then understand this. You didn't find this video by accident. You were drawn here, called, chosen, because the time for passivity is over. The time for forgetting is over. It's time to speak life again. Time to command what is yours, not with arrogance, not with fear, but with calm, steady, holy certainty. Because when the right words are spoken in the right way, nothing can stop what's coming. Now listen. If this message touched something deep in you, I don't care if you like or share this video. What I care about is this. Go find your 7 words, say them in secret, daily, nightly, silently, and then watch. Your world is about to change forever.